when you were a child. You didn't choose how people spoke to you. But today, that voice lives inside your head. And the scary part? You think it's your own. You think your personality is just you. But you're not random. You're a pattern. A pattern your family created. And once you understand these patterns, you start seeing things differently. Your reactions, your fears, even your silence. It all starts making sense. But here's the truth most people never realize. These patterns don't just explain you, they control you. And today, you're about to discover 7 family psychology facts that shaped who you are without you even knowing it. The way your family speaks to you becomes the way you speak to yourself. When you were a child, you didn't question words. You absorbed them. If you were constantly criticized, you're not good enough. You always mess up. Your brain didn't reject it. It accepted it. And over time, those voices didn't disappear. They moved inside your head. Now, even when no one is around, you repeat the same tone, the same judgment, the same negativity. You call it self-awareness, but it's actually conditioning. Your inner voice was built at home. The quiet one in the family is often not shy. They were just not heard. In many homes, there's always someone who speaks less. People say, they're just introverted. But look deeper. Maybe they were interrupted. Maybe their opinions were ignored. Maybe no one really listened. So slowly, they learned something. Speaking doesn't matter, and silence felt safer. This silence doesn't stay in childhood. It follows them. In school, in relationships, in important moments, they hesitate. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they don't believe their voice has value. Point 3. The strong one in the family usually carries the most pressure. Every family has that one person, the one who handles everything, the one who never breaks, the one everyone depends on. People admire them, but they don't see the truth. Strength like that doesn't come naturally. It comes from pressure, from being the one who had no choice but to stay strong. While others shared their problems, this person carried them. Over time, they learned to ignore their own feelings because being strong became their identity. They help everyone, but don't know how to ask for help. They understand others, but feel alone themselves. And inside, they are exhausted. Point 4. In some families, there is no conflict, no arguments, no shouting. It looks peaceful, but it's not always healthy. Because in these homes, problems are avoided. Feelings are hidden. Truth is never spoken. And as a child, you learn something dangerous. Silence is better than honesty. So instead of expressing yourself, you suppress everything. And now as an adult, you struggle to open up. Not because you don't feel, but because you were never taught how. Children don't just listen. They absorb the environment. The emotional atmosphere at home becomes their reality. If the home was tense, they grow up anxious. If it was cold, they become distant. If it was loving, they feel secure. Because children don't learn from words alone. They learn from energy, from tone, from reactions, from unspoken tension. And that emotional pattern stays with them for life. Point 6. At some point, you stop seeing your parents as perfect. You start seeing them as human, with flaws, with struggles, with things they never healed. And suddenly, things make sense. Why they reacted the way they did. Why they couldn't give you what you needed. Not because they didn't love you, but because they didn't have it themselves. This realization is painful, but it's also freeing. Because now, you understand the pattern. Point 7. Family patterns don't just disappear. They repeat. Quietly, slowly, again and again. From one generation to the next. What hurt your parents, in some way, reaches you, not always in the same form, but in the same patterns. And most people don't even notice it happening. They just call it normal. But breaking a pattern? That's different. That's uncomfortable because it means going against everything that once felt familiar. It means speaking. When silence was your habit, opening up. When hiding felt safe, asking for help. When you were always the strong one, and your mind will resist it. It will try to pull you back to what feels known, even if it's unhealthy. But here's the truth most people miss. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are aware. And awareness changes everything. Because the moment you see the pattern, you get a choice to repeat it or to rewrite it. This isn't about blaming your family. It's about understanding them, so you don't become the same pattern for someone else. Because in every family, there is one person who finally decides, it stops with me. So the real question is, will that person be you? If this made you think differently, if you saw yourself in this video, then don't ignore it. Subscribe now, because the more you understand your mind, the more control you take over your life.